It's 7 o'clock. This is Bob Steele.
In the land of the three.
Good evening, this is Dick Bertel.
Gail King, Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Denise DeSenza.
I'm Dennis House, thanks for joining us. Now our Face the State flashback. This week, the country mourned the loss of former First Lady Barbara Bush. She proudly called herself a Texan born in New York, but the fact is, Connecticut played a huge role in her life because it was once her home.
Barbara Bush and her new husband, George Herbert Walker Bush, lived right here after World War II in an apartment on Hillhouse Avenue in New Haven. The future president was a student at Yale University. They had met a few years earlier in Greenwich here at the Round Hill Country Club when then Barbara Pierce was only 16. In July of 1946 at Grace New Haven Hospital, Mrs. Bush gave birth to another future president, George Walker Bush. The Bush family had deep roots in Connecticut. Mrs. Bush's father-in-law, Prescott, would later be elected a U.S. Senator from Connecticut. Even after the family moved to Texas, Barbara Bush came to Connecticut from time to time. In 1990, she came to Southington to campaign for Congressman John Rowland, who was running for governor.
George has long admired John's work in the Congress, and he'll never forget that John was the very first congressman to endorse George in his presidential nomination.
A year and a half later, Mrs. Bush was in Hartford at the Wadsworth Athenaeum, where she received a tour and helped unveil a new stamp honoring art museums that featured this Connecticut icon. I covered her in 1992 when she campaigned for her husband in Bristol. She told the students at this school to call her Barbara.
Right. No, Barbara's right.
The students were smitten.
Mrs. Barbara is a good woman because she liked to play with everybody.
It was kind of cool that she was here because we usually don't have a president's wife coming.
At a rally at Muzzy Field, Mrs. Bush blamed Congress for her husband's political problems.
Think of George as the pilot of a huge airplane loaded with your hopes and dreams for a better future. He takes off, he reaches his destination, he circles the field, and he can't land because the controller Congress is out to lunch.
Mrs. Bush wrapped up her visit to Connecticut by attending a fundraiser at the home of Commerce Secretary Barbara Franklin. Each person paid $2,500 to be here tonight, and dinner wasn't even served.
Mrs. Bush faced protesters during the visit and dismissed the complaints from them and from the then-hit TV show Murphy Brown.
I'm through with her.
We have much more in the life of Barbara Bush on our website, WFSB.com, and the Channel 3 app. By the way, the home where they once lived on Hillhouse Avenue is still there. It's part of the economics department at Yale, and Grace New Haven Hospital is now the Yale School of Medicine. We thank you so much for joining us this Sunday. Have a great day, everybody.